I did a video project on Saturday, and it was in this very quiet auditorium, and I kept clapping, and I kept clapping really loud just to make sure because I had one camera off in the distance. And I wanted to make sure I could sync the cameras, and so it was like you can like cup your hands, like you go like this and cup your hands when you clap. You can make this like super loud noise, and I kept doing it, and it was so funny because there was a dancer and a musician that I was filming. And I warned him ahead of time. It wasn't just like, hey, here's this loud noise. But I was like, hey, I'm going to clap so I can sync the cameras. And you could tell like they were trying to get into a moment and a space mentally. And it's like, clap. So I was like, hey, I can do this afterwards if you want. I don't have to do it before. And they're like, no, it's fine. I was like, so anyways, it was really fun. But hi, hello, welcome back. My name is Matthew Brinker. This is Brink About It, the podcast or conversation, whatever you want to call it. Welcome to 2026. We made it this far. We did it. We survived Christmas and New Year's. If you saw the last episode, you know I'm not really a fan of holidays. Quick recap. These were fine. I did a lot of work. I'm kind of bogged down with client work I need to get done still, somehow, and still trying to manage doing what I want to do here with this and my side projects and side hustles with the client work that I have coming and still on the back burner. So it's a fun little game we keep playing about like, how much can you do in a day, Matt? And I've come to the conclusion that I need to start waking up earlier, being more efficient with my time, scheduling things better. That's a topic for another day, another podcast, another conversation, whatever it is. But today I wanted to talk about the dots connecting and serendipity. And this is super cool for me. I think if you've watched enough of this podcast already, then you know I pay attention to the stars. A little bit woo woo. We love zodiac signs and we love Myers Briggs and all the fun things you can do in life. But I do love serendipitous moments. I love looking at the dots. And I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, honestly. I was not sure what I wanted to talk about this week because there's a lot of different things I could talk about. But I wanted to talk about the dots connecting. This got solidified because I'm going to start with the story and then I'm going to go over some stuff and then we'll come back and wrap it up like I always do. I think that you guys are kind of figuring out how my brain works and as I'm live tweeting it on the internet for you all to be aware. And that's one of the cool things that's been happening here recently. I did a beer can label and a friend of mine said, this looks like what a hazy IPA tastes like. And I was like, hell yeah, I have synesthesia. So I just made something that looked like what a beer tasted like in my brain. Kind of inadvertently, but it's very true. I went back and looked at it. I was like, oh yeah, it does look exactly like what a hazy IPA tastes like. Especially like a juicy New England hazy IPA. It looks just like it. Like the color of the label makes you feel like you're drinking a hazy IPA and not like orange or anything like that. It's this soft cotton candy blue with pinks and oranges. It's beautiful. But anyways, yeah, you see me live tweeting my process as I'm going. But story, I'm out last Saturday with friends and my best friend exactly, but with her. And someone walks up to me and they're like, oh my God, are you Matt Brinker, Brinker Media House? I follow you everywhere. I love what you do. And then started talking to me about the podcast. And started talking to me about all the things that I'm doing and what's all over my YouTube channel, all of my Instagram and Facebook and all that. And this individual has followed me everywhere and is a huge fan. And I do a lot of stuff. Obviously, I'm based in Wilmington, North Carolina. I do a lot of stuff based here in Wilmington, but I'm not doing a lot of stuff on YouTube that's necessarily for Wilmington. I'm doing a lot of bigger kind of ideas and headier things, I feel like. Like, I don't really care if anybody in Wilmington, really loves this podcast. I don't care if anybody in Wilmington really loves like the journey videos I have on this YouTube channel of Wilmington downtown, but I'm doing it to document and to be kind of historically correct and create some legacy of who I was and who I'm becoming and who I have been and all that stuff because it's really cool. I really view YouTube kind of as a time capsule for me. I'd love for in 20 years to look back and remember this moment on January 5th, I'm sitting in this room with two very talented people down the hall doing awesome things, and other people down the hall doing things over here that are also equally as talented, if not more. And I'm in here just talking. I'm in here just yapping. But I view it as a time capsule, and it's really cool. And all of these random things that have been happening to me. I had another person, a friend of mine I've known for several years. I dated a girl, and I met this guy through dating her, and we've been loose friends for a while. I've done some video and photo projects for him, and then he hit me up and was like, "I have this big video project I want to do, and I saw your podcast, and I realized that you are the exact person I need for this job." And that was specifically was the podcast where I cried. Specifically where I came in here, I sat down and I filmed me talking to the camera about my last shift as a bartender, hopefully after almost 20 years of doing it. Who knows? Maybe I go back. We'll see. But right now, nothing in the works. But my friends saw that and had not seen that side of me. And it became very apparent to them that immediately I was the person that was the person for this job for them. And we met, we talked, and so many different serendipitous things kept happening, and we kept talking, and this thing led to this thing, led to this thing, and it fell into place. And then I went to go film the musician and the dancer, which is also serendipitous. And then I was out with my best friend, and this person approached me, and that was serendipitous. Like, all these things keep connecting. And I was having trouble figuring out how to wrap my head around this idea and make it into a kind of regurgitatable or engaging conversation or listen for you. So I did what I've been doing, and that's being an evil, awful artist person and using artificial intelligence to help me as a tool, though. And I want to say this about that. I got a label I had to make correct because it was AI that took a lot of work this morning. And I don't think that we should be using tools like that for anything other than being tools. I kept trying to convince the person to let me remake this label, make it right for them, so we would have more flexibility and freedom after the fact to be able to use it for different things and blow it up more. It's fine for now. The short answer is it's fine. It's computer-generated artificial bullshit. There's no heart in it. There's no soul, really. It's fine. It's beautiful. I did the necessary tweaks and changes and sent it off, and it's done. But I do love to take an idea and type it into some kind of tool and let it give me thoughts and things to consider. So I did it earlier, and it came back with opening thoughts. And it was so funny that the first line of this and the first two words of this whole thing it comes back with is the inspiration for this in general. And it's Steve Jobs. He did a quote in 2005. It was the Stanford commencement speech. And I listened to it in 2013. And it completely changed my life. So much so that I uprooted my entire life, left a job, that led to a long string of changes of leaving a marriage and moving states and doing different things and blowing up my life because I had faith that the dots would connect. But the quote is directly that you cannot see the dots looking forward. You can only see the dots connecting looking back. I don't know if that's a direct quote, but it's something similar to that. You get the gist. You gotta have faith in something. I think he says something like your gut, God, the universe, whatever it is, that things will come together for you and it will happen. And then the next thing this computer gives me back is the concept that seemingly random experiences eventually form a coherent pattern in your life. And why trusting the process is essential even when the path isn't clear. These are talking points it's giving me. And what it's giving me, honestly, what I think is beautiful about this is it's giving me ideas to then actually start as a grounding point and then go from. So I've already talked about Steve Jobs and the 2005 commencement speech. Looking back now 15, 16 years ago at when I, was in this space and place in my life that I wanted to make changes and didn't know how or what. I had no idea what path to take or where to go. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Leap of faith. The dots will connect. And I watched that video, and that was that was kind of the catalyst for me making the big change that I needed to make in my life. And looking back now, I would never have known that that was the most impactful thing that I could have done. And I'm going to leave that there and move on to the next bit, which is personal examples of serendipity. There are so many unexpected encounters that lead to major opportunities in life, and that keeps happening to me. Skills or experiences that seemed unrelated at the time but became invaluable later. I'm not a good reader, by the way. I don't know if I'm just going to say that. I'm not good at reading things. I'm good at speaking. I'm not good at reading. So it's me. You hear me tripping up because I'm trying to be reading and also be here in this conversation in this moment with you guys to make sure that I'm providing the best possible experience with you. So if it's not perfect or it's disjointed, then I apologize in advance because this is who I am as a person and it's probably not going to change at 38, almost 39 years old. So here we are. Failed adventures or wrong turns that taught critical lessons. People who appeared in your life at exactly the right moment. And how many times can you look back in your life and think about those things happening? Unexpected encounters that led to opportunities, skills and experiences you developed over the years that you had no idea would become invaluable later. Tools and pieces of equipment I've gathered over my years of filmmaking and making videos and flying drones that all now, for some reason, work in this space. Serendipitously, they've all come together. Those dots have connected. Failed ventures or wrong turns that taught you critical lessons. My God, I am smarter than I used to be, mostly because of the failed ventures and wrong turns. Like to be completely honest, it's mostly because of the failures that I'm way smarter than I used to be. So, and then the really cool thing was people who appeared in your life at exactly the right moment. And I could give you so many examples of things like that I don't know where to start. But people that have been placed in my life that then have been there when I didn't know I needed them, when I didn't know I was going to want to reach for them for a thing or for an idea, or maybe they reached for me. Even go back to my friend that I just told you about, the artist that wants this big video project. I had no idea that this concept was in my friend's mind and my friend's heart. And we've been cordial. We like each other. We're always friendly. We give each other a hug, catch up when we see each other. Wonderful person, wonderful artist, just beautiful work, super awesome person, like so kind. And it took me doing something for them to see, oh, Brinker's the one for that, and then to jump on it. And I don't know if that moment or this thing is what it is going to be the thing for him and I. Who knows? We have no idea what comes of this, but they've popped up at a cool time. This place popped up at a cool time. These people popped up at a cool time. I've been doing work with one of my office mates here, and that's been a cool relationship and very serendipitous that I came into this place and the space at this time that I did. So I think that it's important to pay attention to this. And I'll get into that as we go here in a second. But the next bullet point that the computer gave me to talk about and think about was the science and philosophy of serendipity. Serendipity isn't just luck. It's prepared luck. Apparently there was a quote from Louis Pasteur that says, "Fortune favors the prepared mind." If you saw one of my last videos, you know that failing to plan is planning to fail. Same thing. That's why, when I typed this in and all this came up, I was like, I have to do this. I don't care that I don't want to talk about artificial intelligence and computers in relation to this, but I'm using it as a tool to then be the human and then connect. And I think computers and technology are great for that. And I think this is great for that. But this is too serendipitous not to share. So here I am. I'm doing it. I'm already 12 minutes in, so I'm not stopping now. So here we are. How to stay curious and open. How staying curious and open creates more opportunities for meaningful coincidences. The role of pattern recognition in seeing connections others miss. Why yes to opportunities increases serendipitous moments. And I think if you don't know why I want to talk about this now, I think you can tell why. I hope you can, because serendipity is not luck. It is not right place, right time. It's preparation. It's preparation. Serendipity is opportunity and preparation, but you have to be aware of the patterns to be able to see them to make it work. I think that you've got to be able to watch the world around you, use the tools you've got, and then I think you can find those serendipitous moments. I think you can see them. You can recognize those patterns and you can kind of follow them, the leading lines to where they go. But you got to pay attention. And that's something that I don't think everybody does. And I don't know how to coach somebody or advise somebody to do that, other than I think it's a way of being. It was not lost on me when I crossed the border to North Carolina. As I'm crossing the border to North Carolina when I first moved here, a rock flew up and hit my windshield. And it's got a big crack in it still. And I don't know what that means. But that happened. And I'm still waiting to find out what that means. I might never find out. But as I'm crossing the border into North Carolina on a high note, also, mind you, because I'm coming here for an interview, I'm excited, and this rock flies off of a truck and smacks my windshield and cracks it. And what I've chosen to assign meaning to this random instance is don't get too high, because shit'll happen. That's what I've chosen to assign to it. What it actually means, I don't know, and maybe time will tell, maybe not. I'm not worried about that, but I gotta pay attention to it, honestly. And then saying yes, and why saying yes creates more serendipitous moments. I think when you're open to pivots and changes and you're fluid and malleable, I think you can, a lot of stuff comes your way. It's crazy to me the amount of things that have come my way because I am fluid and creative and malleable and things. I like to have a structure and a routine, but I also like to be flexible inside of that and dance around that routine and that rigidity and that structure. And I think that when you've got that rigidity and structure around your creativity, then it opens up the ability to be freeform creative inside of that. And I think that's what that's what you're seeing now. I've got like a structure and something I want to talk about, and I'm working inside of it. It gives me full freedom to just be creative and talk and do what I want. I think staying curious and open definitely does create more opportunities. I don't think that I can I can't quantify much of this stuff, obviously, because it's a little woo-woo and fun, but that's what's fun about it. I love it. The next bullet point was creating conditions for serendipity. The bullet points under that are exposing yourself to diverse experiences and people, the importance of doing rather than planning, in parentheses, connects to doing creates the magic, which we talked about last time, which is funny. It's got my two little sparkles on it too. Look, I hate ear too. This is who I am. I'm not I'll evolve and grow and change too, but this is who I am as a person. Building a network of weak ties. Unexpected connections often come from acquaintances. I'm going to get back to that. Maintaining flexibility and adaptability when opportunities arise. Just talk about that. You know how I am. Well, if you don't know how I am, I'm telling you how I am. You might know me and know how I am, but I'm telling you how I am. Building a network of weak ties. I think it's super interesting. When I moved to Wilmington, I've always made a conscious effort to be known and to be liked. I think it's human behavior and human nature. I think everybody wants to be known and liked. Maybe how much might change for the person. I don't mind being well known and I want to be well liked. I know there are people that don't, and that's fine. You can't please everybody. And there are people that, I've had falling outs with friends or lovers or old bosses. But I've purposely, when I came to Wilmington, made an effort to establish myself as somebody who is going to be kind and thoughtful, creative, compassionate, full of energy, positive, and just the things that I wanted to resonate and to exude, I made sure that I've done as much as possible. And I've built a network of a lot of weak ties. I walk through Wilmington constantly and I'm like, hey. But a lot of those weak ties have come back to be the thing that I needed. I'm in this room right now because of a weak tie. Because a friend of a coworker is the guy that owns this place. And because I hope I did a good enough job of creating a name for myself. When I shot that message out and said, hey, can we meet and talk? I'd love to get to know you. It was yeah, let's do it. And then here I am, having a meeting earlier and working with other people in this building and having a home base I've always dreamed of. Serendipitously. I cannot stress enough how serendipitous this all is. And I want to stop, and I want to, because this is me coming back to that, I want to go back to something way before. Steve Jobs, in that same commencement speech, talked about how dropping out of Stanford allowed him to drop into the things he wanted to do. And that's happening right now with me. I would not have had that meeting on Saturday morning with my art friend that wants the big project. I would not have gone, and I would not have filmed the dancer and the musician on Saturday had I been bartending. I would not have been out with my friends Saturday night had I been bartending. I would not be here right now if I was still bartending, because it's a Monday and I'd normally just be like completely screwing off because it's my only one of 2 days off to get things done, to have fun, to enjoy my life, all that stuff. But because I have flexibility and freedom around my life now because of how I'm setting it up, I've been able to drop into these things, to do beer can labels that matter to me, put time and energy into them that makes them feel good, makes me proud of them, to the point that I tell people on purpose now that I'm a graphic designer, to the point that I can tell somebody confidently that I can make that better for you than what the computer can. Same as this little outline bullet point thing. No one cares about this. I hope you care about this. I can make this better because I have the opportunity to. Because I've had the opportunity. I've paid attention to the patterns. And I see how the world has unfolded around me and for me and because of me. And I will also say, one of the worst things I think you can do is try to force things. There's a human design thought that I haven't really delved too far into. But one of the human design things is there's different categories of people, and I'm a projector. And one of the big things they say about projectors is projectors can be life-changing, but projectors often find themselves frustrated because they often give their input and opinion, and it's not always well received. And I've learned in my own life to shut up, only sometimes. Let people talk. Wait to be asked for things. Wait to be asked for input and opinions. Wait to be asked for what I think about it. And then give that input and opinion. And I've found, since I've been doing that, which has been about a year, that I've had better relationships. I've reminded myself to shut up sometimes and listen. And to listen not with the intent of responding, but to listen with the intent of understanding and connecting with my friend or my coworker or my peer or my whatever it is. I did it with my art friend. I said, I'm going to interrupt you. I'll bring it back. I promise. I promise I'll bring it back. I'm interrupting you. I did a really good job with them about interrupting, giving my thought while it was live and cooking in my brain, and then bringing back to the conversation we were having. And I think that's an important thing to remember too, because I do be interrupting people and I do be talking, but I can bring it back most of the time. Sometimes I get lost. You've seen me a little bit get lost, but what I try to do when I get lost is just pause, be still, and just wait. And I think that I have not read this far in this note to know what's coming next, but I think it's the same thing. So we'll find out together. The next bullet point: when dots don't seem to connect, the patience required during periods of uncertainty. I'm in one right now. Why some experiences take years or decades to reveal their significance. I would not trade anything I've been through in life for where it's gotten me right now. I mean, I'd do some things differently. We all make mistakes. I do things differently, but I wouldn't trade it. Not knowing what I know now, not being who I am now, wouldn't trade it. Learning to trust that the universe conspires in your favor. Now, I will say, I guess in the defense of this program that I have used, it's not one of the outsourced ones. This is the program I use for organization that's only got stuff about Matthew Brinker, Brinker Media House, all my ideas, all my organization, all my notes in one spot. So it is pulling from stuff, which I guess is important to note. So if you got this far, you know, like, okay, it's not, do you know that about those websites and things you're using? What email you use, what you put in uses, matters. It matters. The email you use matters. The prompts you use matters. Your digital presence online matters for what those programs and those things give back to you. So I've got a friend that started a business, and when they started the business, they did nothing on any of the programs until they had everything set up on the back end for themselves and their new business. And then they started asking the programs for prompts and ideas and things. And they've used it to help like cohesively build their brand. And again, I would love those things as tools and ideas maybe, and not so much in the execution of the thing. But also, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum, so it's fine. You've never heard that before. I've said that before I heard it last year for the first time from somebody else's mouth. So if by some off chance you ever watch this, I said that before I heard you say it. So don't even act like I got it from you. And you know who you are. The difference between forcing connections and allowing them to emerge naturally. Bang. I knew that was going to be in there somewhere, somehow. But yeah, that. Practical takeaways. Document your journey. You'll be amazed looking back at the connections. Every experience adds a dot to your constellation. Nothing is wasted. That's so important. That's so important. So important. Every experience adds a dot to your constellation. Nothing is wasted. You are building your own universe, and every single dot adds another star or planet or sun to your universe. Stay open to the unexpected. Rigid plans can bind you to serendipity. Oh, sorry. Yes. Bind you to serendipity. Yes. Yeah, don't be rigid. Be fluid. It's fun. I got a compliment. Somebody last weekend said you have such a kind and fluid version of creativity that we really appreciated. Paraphrasing. Something like that. It was kind and fluid were used. I'm not sure about the rest of it. And my little words of affirmation heart just went, ah. Share your story. Your dots connecting might inspire others to trust their journey. Here we are. Closing thoughts. The reassurance that comes from looking backward and seeing the pattern. How this perspective changes your relationship with uncertainty. An invitation for listeners to reflect on their own connected dots. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm closing this now because I don't want to read it anymore. Done. Screw that. We're also getting close to time, and I've been keeping track of it. But I thought this was a really fun thing to just talk about. And this is kind of what I wanted to do, but I wanted to lose structure because it's interesting that I knew the program would pull from all the stuff and give me feedback and give me something to talk about. It would give me direction. It would give me an outline. And then to pick and choose and cherry pick and put my own flair and spin on the things that it's giving me is fun. It's a cool tool. But what I think is cooler is serendipity. It's honoring and respecting all of the things that have happened in my life to get to this astronomical moment right now. It's honoring and respecting what has gotten everybody I've interacted with and their lives to those moments where they've met me and meeting their experiences and their history and their wisdom and their knowledge with mine. And knowing that I can learn from them, knowing that I can teach them if asked. It's pretty cool. And I find myself in this very serendipitous moment where I've been able to drop out of some things that have allowed me to drop into some things. And I love that. And I'm in an uncertain moment. I still don't know whether this works out. I still don't know whether I end up going back to bartending. I still don't know whether I end up getting to live this dream continually. Or if I've got to make a pivot. And I don't know where that's going to take me. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to be here. This time last year, I had no clue this is where I was going to be. But I have faith that the dots will connect. I am trusting that again. I trusted that before I did the leap of faith of moving to Wilmington. And I'm trusting it now. January 5th, 2026. That this will all work out. That the things that I want. Okay, we're back to wrap this up. Yeah, I got faith that this is going to work out. That things are going to come my way. That what I need, when I need it most, will come to me. That I am resourceful enough to find resources to continue doing what I want and to find the jobs and to provide value. I'm so confident in those things. And I believe that the dots will connect. I believe that this is just the beginning. I looked at my best friend Saturday after that happened, almost in tears. And she saw it, and she was like, "This is cool, isn't it?" And I was like, "This is so cool. It's so cool that any of you choose to spend any of your time here with me." So, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for watching. My name is Matthew Brinker. This has been Brink About It. Please always remember, passion is priceless, execution is everything, and art is not optional. And guess what? I think I have my first guest for that podcast. I'm so excited. I think I've got like 4 people lined up this week to do it. It's like the floodgates have opened now that there's like a history of me doing things on the internet now. People are like, "Oh, he's doing this on the internet. We want to do it too." And it's like the floodgates are opening up, and it's so cool, and I'm so excited. It's so magical to see those dots connecting. So that's all I got. This is actually longer than I wanted it to be, but it's okay. We said about 30 minutes, right? We're keeping to that. Yeah, that's all for me. The dots will connect. Have faith. Do the work. Be kind. Be thoughtful. And show up. I love you all, and I mean that. Goodbye. Oh, I'm so thankful this place is here. I'm so thankful that this is where I am right now. That's cool. Bye bye.